Welcome to another Car Meet Garage. My name is Don. We're here with Grant in his shop that is very orange behind us.
It's orange, and I didn't paint it. I actually bought it that way. So the realtor, when I wanted to buy the house, they showed me the garage first because they had me pegged. They're like,
we're carpet guys. Show me the garage.
Yeah. He's like, and this was the first house he ever sold too. So he's like, I just want to show you the garage real quick. So he opened up the door, and there's like party lights and all kinds of stuff in here. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of a pretty big garage. I was living in an apartment at the time. I had nothing. So yeah, the garage is what sold me. And it just happened to be orange, which I don't mind. Like my race cars were orange. I got the old body panels up there.
You guys see the theme back here, the orange and the blue and stuff on them.
That came from my old boss, which is he was a friend before he was my boss, but he raced modifieds or owned a modified, and then a guy named Claude Plant drove for him, and Claude's colors were blue and orange, and it used to be his old car. So we just kind of sold him the car, and Claude still drove the car for him. And then I helped Ray work on that car for like 4 years, and then we ended up winning a track championship at Owasso. Broke this guy's 12-year championship winning streak.
Oh damn.
The two guys that just every single night, like 6 hours out in his garage, and then Saturday just two guys beat this guy. It was kind of funny because the guy that we beat, he built the chassis initially. So
hey, at least you're getting beat by your own stuff. Right?
He wasn't mad at all. So, but yeah, right. that was cool.
So, how did you get your start? I know everybody's got their own story and
just start into cars.
Yeah,
man. I was thinking about this question because I got the list, and as far back as I can remember, just being a kid, I just like big truck, and it was like there's a semi truck, and there I am at 4 years old, telling my parents the difference between a 91 Grand Am and an 89 Grand Am because the headlights are different, and they're trying to figure out how I knew that.
Just a car savant.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know how I knew that. I just like, oh, this is different because it's newer and it has this. And then I started reading car magazines. Four-wheel and off-road was like my go-to because in the lifted trucks of the late 80s, early 90s, the 44s on them, for some reason, I just love like the 88 to 99 pickups, like a 6-inch. With like 35s, but like 14-inch wide on the 16-inch wheels. That looked cool to me when I was a kid, and so I was reading all about that. But the thing is, when you read those books when you're so young, you're oh, cool truck, but you're learning stuff at the same time. And so I was learning about all kinds of parts, and I could describe how to build an engine when I was 8 years old. Could I do it? No, but I knew that you needed to check ring end gap, and you needed to break in lifters if you would install a flat tappet camshaft, and need to check crankshaft end plate. And my parents were just like,
right, power block helps too because they went through all that.
Yeah. And that was the thing too. Back in the 90s, we had TNN on Sunday mornings, and right before church, I'm sitting there, I'm watching Trucks and Tractor Power, and there's Army Armstrong telling me about Class 6 NMRO mud drag racing and explaining the difference. I remember he was talking about this dude called Fred Wilhite, and he had this Fiat Topolino, which it wasn't. It was a rail, but it just had a Fiat Topolino body on it, and he was describing the wide 5 hubs that were on it. He goes, these are circle track hubs, and they use these because they're really light and they're really strong, and they use the same. I was like, this is cool. They don't do that anymore, and that kind of sucks. I miss Army Armstrong. That was the guy to watch on Sunday mornings. And then Stacy David.
He's one of my favorites, Stacy David.
Yeah. And then before it became Horsepower TV, well, man, what was that called? It's still the same guy, Joe Elwood, or is it Elwood or Elwood? I think it's Elwood.
It's Elwood, I think.
Yeah, Joe Elwood and Chuck. Joe and Chuck, they just sit there, they're like, oh, Mustangs are better. He goes, man, shut up, Ford boy. Let me show you what this big block Chevrolet can do. And they have that cadence stuff. And Yeah, that kind of molded me. Not, I guess, who I am today, but that's how I learned. I just absorbed from TV shows and magazines. I mean, it was just constantly just like cars. What can I learn? What can I do? And by the time I was 14 years old, I had never opened a Briggs and Stratton. I had like taken my bike apart. That was about it. But I had worked at a chicken restaurant back home. Saved up enough money. I bought a square body Chevrolet, and my uncle gave me a 4-bolt small block Chevy. It had a V6 in it, and I was going to swap it. And he just goes, "Have you done a motor swap before?" I said, "No." And he goes, "Well, here's an engine. You can have it." So I took it all apart. I sent it out to CarQuest. They machined it. I put it all back together by myself. No adults. Just shit that I remembered from reading in magazines, and I fired it up. It ran somehow. I broke in the cam, and it's actually sitting right behind me. The very first engine I ever built is that green one. And I ended up selling the truck because I ran out of room. And I told him, like, I will sell you the truck, but I want the engine out of it. And he just goes, well, and I explained to him the story and everything. And he ended up buying it for his wife. It was a wedding present for his wife. And I still see that truck.
It's a hell of a nice wedding present.
Yeah. And I'm like, so you won't let me drive it? Or because I see him out at the racetrack. Like, you won't let me drive it? And he just goes, no.
Dang it.
No, come on. But yeah, it's magazines, books, all that, just...
Nice. So the square body, was that technically the first vehicle you ever owned?
No, that was the first vehicle that I bought on my own.
Okay.
But my very first car was a '95 Jeep Cherokee. My aunt and uncle bought it brand new when they got married, and I remember riding around in that. Man, we drove down to Cedar Point in that thing, Detroit Zoo, outran a train. And then about
I think statute of limitations is going to get you on that one.
Oh yeah, I mean that was '95.
Right.
So, but I was getting ready to turn 16, and they sold it to my mom and dad for a really good price. That was my first car, and my wife's first car was a '98 Jeep Cherokee. So. It's kind of funny when
mutual story when you're getting together. It's okay. Yeah, what's your first car?
Yeah, just talking to each other. She goes, "Yeah, mine was a '98. It was all black. It was sport. Mine was a '95." And so now we have an XJ outside. that was
we were walking up. Yeah,
yeah, that was that was kind of an impulse buy. I had sold my race car and I had my enclosed, and we were going through kind of a rough patch in our lives there. Some people passed away unexpectedly, and we were feeling kind of sad. And this Jeep came up for sale. So I sold the trailer, bought the Jeep. I bought it from my cousin.
Right.
And my cousin, he and his dad, they're super meticulous like me. It's like, okay, I bought something cool. I'm going to take it all apart and make sure nothing's broken. So that Jeep, they tore it down, pulled the axles and the interior, everything out of it, put floor pans, put a lift kit and new tires, and went through the whole thing. And then he wanted to buy some property, and he just goes, "Hey, I want some of my Jeep." So I'll take it.
Oh, somehow that's how the best deals come around.
Yeah. Yep. And I daily drive that in the summer, and yeah, it needs gears. It needs gears. It needs 410s. It's 250,000 miles on a stock 4-liter, which
that's a bulletproof motor.
Yeah, it is bulletproof, but it's tired, and 31s and 355 gears and
it's rough out.
250,000 miles. It's like, all right, I guess I'll accelerate from the stop sign. Okay, there we go.
Nice.
Time for gears.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So we're also sitting here next to your 67 Pontiac Tempest, right?
Yeah.
Love these things.
Yeah, 67 Tempest. This car is mostly all original. The paint, the body, the interior is untouched. The engine has been rebuilt. I got the car from my mom's niece. My mom was born 9 years to her closest sibling. So her niece is 2 years older or 2 years younger than she is. So,
damn.
So yeah. So I got this car from my mom's niece, who got it from her grandmother. Her grandmother worked at the GM Proving Grounds in the 60s.
Yep.
And so did my mom's niece. She got the car from her grandmother. This car has been all over the United States. They drove it out to Arizona, California, and back. Then her ex-husband drag raced it. This car has had a 400, a 421, a 428, a 455. I don't know how fast it's gone. It still has all stock suspension on it though, save for some lowering springs in the front and a bigger sway bar.
The Tempest is independent rear suspension, right?
No.
Are these a solid line of
So the first generation Tempest, 62, 63 area, they were kind of set up like a C5. So you had an engine in the front, and then you had what they called a rope drive.
Yep.
And that went to a
Looks like the torque tube.
transaxle in the back. It's really cool because the torque converter is outside the transmission, so you see this big spinning torque converter spinning around the back. And then when they went to the new intermediate design in 64, GM kind of wiped away that independent thinking that Pontiac had, said you're going to go to
conform to everything we're doing.
You're going to body on frame like everybody else. So 64 was the first year for that. This is the last year for this body design, and then they went to the 68 to 72 style. Okay. But yeah, this car, I love this thing. So right now it's got the original 326. It's been rebuilt.
Okay. That was my next question. You mentioned that there's like a 427 and stuff in it before.
It's had so many different combinations, and it's been really fast. Like I said, I don't know how fast he had it. I really don't know how he would have gotten it that fast because the bushings and everything on this thing are stockety stock. So, but it's 326. I think it's maybe 20 over. Compression is still about 8.5 to 1. It's got a Ram Air 3 cam in it, Edelbrock Performer intake, 600 CFM Edelbrock carb, and a set of very leaky Hooker headers, and all that kind of came from the 389 400 that used to be in it. And it's got a turbo 400 in it with stock converter and 355 gears.
This is a good cruiser.
It is. Man, this thing drives so nice. I hate to screw with it. I'm like, man, I'm going to take the 326 out and I'm going to put an LS in it.
But an LS in it.
I show up and I'm like, oh, I'll drive my car. I turn the key and it fires up instantly. Like, it doesn't need a choke. I just, done. It runs. And I drive it up Mackinac. I could drive it down to Detroit. 60 miles an hour, 3,000 RPM. It's just happy. But I can never leave anything well enough alone.
Well, that's kind of the disease we all have. We can't leave well enough alone.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So it had 4-wheel factory drum brakes on it. And then I used my Circle Track parts knowledge and kind of put together a 4-wheel disc brake kit for it for a third of what the big companies are like, oh, buy our kit. So I got some Speedway parts for Circle Track cars and did the rear discs on it. It's got what they call metric calipers, which are basically G-body front calipers.
Right. And
then the D52 front calipers with standard A-body disc brake stuff on the front.
So stuff's good.
Yeah. Kind of. I haven't gotten there yet. because they sell you those kits. It's got a matched master cylinder and everything. So I thought I had put the master cylinder, because it's the exact same brake setup I had put in my race car. I thought I put the right master cylinder in it. I did not. Had no brakes. And then by that time I had run out of time, and it had sat there since the summer. So I haven't driven it since then, but actually, after this interview, I'm going to tear it apart and get it going for the summer.
Okay, so it will stop good.
It will stop good.
Yeah.
There's some plans for this summer, and fix the leaky headers is the main priority.
It gets annoying.
It's a Pontiac, dude.
Right.
Those exhaust ports. I mean, small block Chevys did the same thing, but Pontiac's even worse. So having flat headers, I should just put manifolds on it, but I got a set of headers at swap meet for $20 and a strand.
What are you gonna do? You got them.
Yeah, I mean, put it on.
So, you know, what's your future plans for this thing?
My future plans for this thing is for it to be a wolf and sheep clothing. Wolf and sheep's clothing. Yeah. I want to make this thing like a street legal, like circle track car.
Okay.
The LS that's behind me, it's an L76 truck motor, but it's all aluminum. And when it's all fully done and put together, it will be 300 pounds lighter than the 326 that's in the car now. So they'll bring the front end up a little bit. It's a little low right now, but I want to have 8,000 RPM capable carbureted LS car that can go around the cloverleaf there at a little bit faster than the yellow sign suggests. So I'm going to go through the front suspension, upgrade bushings. That's you have to on these cars. But I'm going to upgrade the front suspension geometry. I'm going to move that around, move the moment center. Because you ever notice you watch a cool muscle car make that left hand turn and you see that left tire lean in the wrong way? Fixing that. You change that by ball joints. It's really easy. So I'm going to swap out the ball joints for Howe ball joints. They're low friction. They're expensive, but you take them apart. They're rebuildable.
You get what you pay for.
Yep. And then do the bump steer on the front. Make the front turn and do what it needs to do. And then go through the back, change the rear moment center in there, make it hook, change so it doesn't do axle hop. You know, fix all the A-body problems that they have. Put spherical bearings in it. Eventually, I want to put coilovers back there, but that'll happen.
All in due time.
But and then one thing I can't decide because it's an all original car. Do I want to put a 5-speed in it, or do I want to keep a turbo 400 in it? I don't want to cut the floor, but that's something that
what's cut can be welded back in the old cars old cars too. So
I know, and that's why I keep on telling myself. But do I want to cut that? It's the floor. It's rust free. The car. It's virgin. I might not. But that's the ultimate goal. 8,000 RPM capable, like G machine style.
That cuts a nasty corner.
Yes. Yep. I want it to turn.
Nice. So, what's your favorite car you've ever owned?
Favorite car I've ever owned?
Yeah.
Probably my race car. Yeah, that car, I built that car from the ground up. The interesting story with that car too. So that car I actually paid no money for. I mean, I kind of did. It was a lot of horse trading. I had a YZF 450.
Yep.
And then I traded that for a metric race car that used to race out at Tri-City when it was pavement. It was a pro stock back then. But metric cars on pavement aren't the best. They're better suited for dirt. Well, I found a guy that was racing a Camaro on dirt and wanted a metric car. So I swapped them. This car was actually built in the late 90s, early 2000s. By Wind Pushers, and if anybody out there knows Wind Pushers, you know who they are. So that was the car, that was the chassis shop to have build your car for Auto City and Dixie back then. It had an offset cage and everything. It was exactly what I was looking for. So brought it home, took it apart, went through it, did the suspension geometry. A friend of mine did that and taught me how to do it. So that's how I know where to move moment centers and how to make a car turn, even left or right or just left. And then, it's had many iterations since then. And that's a car I wish I still had. But my buddy actually ended up buying it from the guy I sold it to. So I'm still around it, right? I'm still working on it. He's actually going to bring it over here next week so I can go through it again and get it ready for this next upcoming season. Racing street stocks at Owasso Speedway.
Nice. It's a really nice track. It's been a minute since I've been out to Owasso. They got a really nice track out there.
They do. They're a gentleman that just purchased it 2 years ago. It's going to be the jewel of the Midwest. Have you seen what they've done to it?
No, it's
So what they've done is they've ripped up the entire track. They've replaced the pavement, which is completely unheard of in pavement circle track racing now.
it's expensive.
It's incredibly expensive.
Yeah.
They've spent millions of dollars on this track. They've upgraded the lighting to all LED lighting. So when a feature race comes out, the lights will flash all kinds of different colors and give you this light show on the track as the cars are warming up. They're ripping out all the grandstands and installing brand new grandstands, brand new bathrooms. They've ripped up the infield. They're putting in a pit road because they want touring series to come in. This track it's going to be a cool place. I can't wait to go there next year and do some racing.
Yeah, it sounds absolutely beautiful, and it's fun to watch circle track. It is. You know, as a drag racer, that's what I prefer to do. And I was like, circle track, and then you go out there, and just the environment you're around is just different.
And see, I'm just a motorsports fan. Right. I because there's this drift between pavement racers and dirt racers. I go to both. I went Tri-City Speedway like every Friday. And I know people out there, and it's a different world between dirt and pavement, and even like drag racing. There's guys that went drag racing, now they're circle track racing. There's guys that were circle track racing, now they're drag racing. We don't care. We just want to go fast. We don't play with our toys.
That's where I'm at too. And my wife was worked security out at Tri-City Speedway, her and her mom. And so when I first started dating her, I was like, I went out there a couple times. I kind of want to build a circle track car, and she's like, no. She's like, well, you have enough hobbies. I was like, you're not wrong.
We all have. Oh man, I had so many hobbies, and it's kind of like a thing with the car guys, isn't it? Is like, we got the car, but what else do we do? I race cars on my PC, or I race cars on my video games, or I race RC cars. I raced RC cars all over the eastern United States for 6 years too. We like to go fast. We don't care how.
Oh, even I picked up the NPR, the no prep RC drag racing stuff. That got way out of hand.
That's what I want to get into is that no prep stuff.
Let's go!
Yeah, because it's that tracks and slash stuff. Because the class that I raced, carpet oval, was called Mud Boss, and it uses LCG tracks and slash. Yeah, and it's spec rules, so you have to buy the body. I mean, the one guy kind of has it pinched down, but it's the same rules. I can race from Michigan all the way down to Florida, and I don't have to change anything on my car. It was so nice, and I raced all over Michigan, Ohio, Indiana. I took it to New York and raced on dirt. They didn't like me there. I showed up with my carpet set up, and I siped some tires. They're running these because we're running on foam tires. They're running the tires. They didn't true them down at all. They're huge, so they would slide in the corner, then traction roll. But I was running my carpet tires, and I made up my own little lathe and trued them down. So there's only probably about 60 thousandths of foam on the outside of the wheel. I'm out there just sliding around
using the tire to make the turn.
And they didn't like me. But I made it through all the alphabet of mains, and I got fourth in the A, and that was pretty cool. The highlight of RC car racing for me. But
because we actually in the area. Well, last year we kind of took a break because I organize all that. Not just me solely, me and my buddy Matt Schock. We do the 989 MPRC stuff.
Oh yeah,
and let me tell you, it's a lot of fun. Like, I didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much as I was, and then it started getting way more serious. Now they've got new rules, and I got to look at those, and I got to change. I have 5 cars. I got to change to each class. I got to change it now. So,
but that's just racing. I had to do that with the big car circle track racing.
Yeah,
they're just like
constantly changing the rules.
It's like, all right, we're going to change the engine rules. Why? Now I got to buy a solid roller cam and a 4-barrel and a different intake and different heads. I got to change the whole top end. If I can change the whole top end, my bottom end's not going to last. So I had to build a whole new motor for that rule change. And I'm glad I did. that was my favorite motor too. That was a screamer. It was a 360-inch small block Chevy. It was a 3.5-inch stroke, 6 1/4 rod. Flat top, Dart Iron Eagle Platinum 200cc heads with some bowl work done. Port matched Super Victor or not Super Victor. Super Victor's Dominator. Tall Victor intake.
Yeah.
The crankshaft that I had in there, it was a 39-pound billet Bryant crankshaft. So you whack the throttle, and I'll send Kermit Greg a clip. Insert clip here. Throttle whack, and then
right here.
Yeah. That was my favorite motor and my favorite car. But yeah.
Nice. So, is there any cars you want to own?
Any cars that like bucket list cars?
Yeah, bucket list car. Do we got our bucket list cars? I got
Bucket list car.
Yeah.
Oh, there's different genres of car. So if we're talking,
You can say multiple, dude.
all right. So I really want an Orbit Orange GTO Judge.
Yeah.
I want Orbit Orange GTO,
Yeah.
GTO Judge Ram Air 4 with a 4-speed.
I swear to God, if you don't put in the friggin' the Dazed and Confused friggin' Judge right here, I'll be so disappointed.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
No, so what got me liking the Orbit Orange Judge was actually a 2-lane blacktop.
That's a beautiful movie.
Yeah, and yeah, that car that's what got me into it. My shop teacher, it wasn't a Judge, but his name was Charlie Morton. He sold that probably about 20 years ago now, but that was it was a 69 GTO, but it wasn't a Ram Air 4 car, but he built it to Ram Air 4 spec, and he brought it to school one day and he just goes, all right, guys, I got to go. And then he like did a burnout. He says, oh, whoops, didn't mean to do that, and took off.
Yeah, you didn't.
He also had a blown big block 57 Chevrolet too. That was cool. I think he still has that car. So, hi, Mr. Martin, if you see this.
I'm Mr. Martin.
Yeah. Another bucket list car besides the Judge. God, I got so many. I'm sticking with the Judge for now because that's the one.
Dude, that's perfectly okay because
Yeah.
those are beautiful cars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Growing up, my grandma, they still have it at my parents. My parents don't have it. A 65 Le Mans convertible.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
The 65 is like my favorite of the A-body design, or like the Pontiac A-body designs, because I like the way that the roofline looks. Like the 67 has that nice like slope, but the 65 has that abrupt stop, and then the front is more square. It doesn't have the 65s. I like them. They look cool.
Yeah, it's got white vinyl interior too. So
Oh, dude, yeah.
blue with white vinyl interior.
That's been out at car shows. I've seen that car.
It's been in the garage for
Really?
like 30 friggin' years. Yeah.
Well, there's another one out there because I've
Yeah.
seen another, except I think it was a GTO. I'll have to look at.
I think I've seen it
the
too. I
car.
think it's a GTO.
Yeah. No, I kind of go around and look at all the GTOs, look at the Protecto plates, and see if they're clones or not.
Sometimes the clones are more fun
I
because
know.
you use a clone more than you can use. Look,
I know.
original GTO Judge, that thing's sitting in the garage and wipe
Oh,
with a diaper.
I know.
A clone, you're going to use a clone
No,
for sure.
But man, if I got a Judge, I'm driving it. I don't care. Yeah, sure, okay, sure. It's a $100,000 car, but if I'm going to spend $100,000 on a car, I'm not going to have it just sit in my garage and be like, there you go.
Or you take it to shows, but it's
Yeah.
not here. And be out there doing donuts. And
No, I'm not doing donuts and
right.
shit. I want to drive the car. I want to. If I break the car, I can fix the damn thing. But yeah, I mean, you got a cool car. Drive it. Just get out and drive it. I have to drive this, but
It's going to get there.
yeah, it will. Time.
Yeah.
Yeah, work's on down. Life's speeding up, but work's on down. So
Hey, that's all right.
Yeah.
So, any future projects coming up beside finishing the brakes on this and
Future projects coming up. Yeah, getting this thing going. The race car, getting that going for the next season. Stuff going on with the Jeep. No, I want to regear that. I got a 3/4 ton Suburban that I'm daydreaming about doing something stupid to as well. It's a 12 3/4 ton Suburban with like the most perfect drive line. It's got a LY6 and a 6L90 with a 14 bolt full float. But why not throw a turbo on it and tow your camper? But
turbos are fun.
yeah, but years, and that's daydreaming stuff down the road. Like maybe it won't even happen. Maybe it will. Maybe I'll throw a blower on it.
Yeah, but if you don't daydream about it, is it ever going to happen? That's how you get ideas.
That's like 90% of like car culture is like looking at your car and be like, oh man, yeah, I could do that. And then do your research, and then you figure that out, and you figure out the parts that you need. You have your parts list, and then you do reviews like, okay, what camshaft? Okay, think about that cam. Read about people who have used that cam and their combination. Read about that guy and his combination, and kind of think about what you want to do. And they're like, oh, that's not going to work. And then you got to daydream up a new thing. So that's what's fun about, having so many cars and then eventually getting to work on one.
Right, and that's what's fun about the cars in general too, is implementing your ideas.
Yeah, just like, okay, I'm going to do this now. Like I had this idea, I'm going to do it.
With everything that you have going on, do you have any socials that people can follow you on?
I got Instagram mainly. Hell, I don't even know what my Instagram handle is. You'll see me pop up on the Car Meet page. I don't have a picture on there. It's a roller coaster. I like roller coasters.
Who doesn't like roller coasters? Owning a car is like a roller coaster of emotion.
Oh, dude. Just like, especially like you're sitting there like, okay, this feels like it's stripping. It feels like it's stripping. Is it stripping? I don't feel the tension changing. Is it even moving? Oh, I got it out. Yeah. Or is this feels like it's going to snap, and it snaps, and then all hell breaks loose.
Right.
Yep. And roller coaster emotions, or I won, and then the next round you go out and you blow up, or lose a U-joint, or something stupid happens. That's also what makes having a car fun. Is it's not only just like a visceral experience to like hop in the car and drive. It's an emotional experience because you love your car. Everybody loves their car. I once worked for
or love to hate it.
Yeah, I once worked for a company, the car company. I'm not going to say who. And I was leaving, and he asked why, and I said I don't know. I can't really get behind what's going on, and he said, well, just keep in mind, Grant, that it's just a car. And I'm like, well, I'm glad I'm leaving, because it's not just a car. It's not just a car. Yeah, sure, it might be like a friggin' Kenmore to you, but no, this thing right here. This is family history, and it's just memories. Me and my wife and my dogs are just if I even like open the door, my dogs can hear it inside the house, and they go ape shit. They want to go for a ride in the car, and just think about all the memories that anybody's ever had in a car, like road trips and racing and going to watch racing, or going to a car show, or just like walking through a parking lot and then like just like seeing, holy shit, what is this thing? And you're walking around it and staring at it. And cars aren't just cars; they're an experience. That's it.
So is there anybody who has helped you get those experiences, as far as companies and friends and stuff, that you kind of want to give a shout out to?
People, I mean, as far as like companies that have helped me, do car stuff, I'll just name my race car sponsors, because I'm still good friends with them, and they still help out my buddy too with his racing. DTS drivetrain specialist in Detroit. Or Warren, I'm sorry. I'm from up north originally, so, and I might get flamed for this, but you go when you're from up north, Detroit is a 75 and 23 split. That's just what it is. And everybody from down south thinks that the Z Bridge is where up north starts. That's not where up north starts, but that's a different part of the video. Right. So they're from Warren. They helped me with a complete custom Ford 9 and drive shaft and everything.
I see Hardway Racing on your side, and wasn't that Galen Beach?
Yeah, Galen passed away this year.
Yeah, we were actually just at Galen's shop with
who's got Galen's shop now?
Mike Garcia.
Fucking Mike?
Yeah.
Oh man, I haven't talked to him in like years.
Yeah, he's my ex-brother-in-law. We're still good friends. No shit. Yeah.
So I thought didn't Larry get the shop?
He did, but he's Mike's working out of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know. I saw they had this Galen C4 that was out there.
It's for sale.
It's still for sale.
The C4 Corvette.
Oh, so
Yeah, they offered it to me.
how much did you talk them down to?
I haven't talked them down enough because I have my C4 Corvette, and they asked if I wanted it because it's a Doug Nash 4 Plus
man.
whatever car. Yeah, it looks like a nice car.
It is. I've driven that car from the back of the property to the front of the property and then back. So
They got it running. It's sitting out. It's not sitting out front, but it's sitting outside.
I saw it.
But anyway, we can get back.
You can edit that part out there too, Greg.
But thanks to the late great Galen Beach.
Yeah. Galen did teach me a lot of stuff about circle track racing. I spent a lot of nights in that shop, squaring race cars, doing suspension geometry, building bodies. Just about 90% of like my circle track knowledge came out of hardway racing there. So Galen did teach me a lot of stuff. He taught me and my buddy a lot of stuff about racing, and that's it's hardway racing's there on Ray's mod, and it was on my car, and so yeah. Oh yeah, talk about memories back there. Damn.
I know, right? Like, hey, we're in Galen's. No shit. Yeah, we were. Yeah, we kind of get around. Just a little bit.
No, everybody.
Not everybody. We're getting there though.
Yeah.
So my dad used to say, it's not how many people you know, it's who you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got anybody else?
Well, Kermit Greg.
Whoop. Here I come. Oh, here I come.
I mean,
well, yeah.
I mean, if it wasn't for Greg, I wouldn't know. I mean, you guys, because I met Greg at my very first Be Cool car show. Or was it called Be Cool then? But
8 years ago it would have been Be Cool car show. It would have been the Be Cool car show.
Okay.
Then I went to Cool City.
Yeah, because that was when that was the first time I took this car there, and that was when I just gotten it. Insert picture of when I just gotten it here. It had the stock steel 14-inch wheels on it, stock suspension, the stock hubcaps. I mean, it was a proper 60s looking drive down the road car. And then I'm just doing my thing, walking up and down the roads, and I see this all black, flat black Camaro just sitting there idling. I'm like, man, this is a cool car. As the headlights are glowing red, and the guy was sitting in there, and I was just talking to him. Greg and I talked 15 minutes, and next thing you know, we're out looking at cars with each other. And here we are. I've been here 10 years, so at least 10 years. So, but yeah. And then with the car meeting everybody at the car meet, I mean, it's a cool thing. I'm glad that it's been put together, and we've got this thing that we can go and do every weekend and see each other, see everybody's cars, hang out, talk about what we're doing, and then
And have these conversations in the summer.
Yeah, and this show is cool, man, because you get to see all the wintertime stuff. I mean, nobody can like sneak up and be like, oh, this is what I brought now, but I mean.
Right, it's neat to get in people's garages and kind of see what they're building stuff, because you can talk to somebody at the car show, but physically getting into somebody's shop is kind of neat.
Yeah.
I walked in here, I was like, man, it's painted. I'm going to have to paint my garage because it's all white right now. Yeah.
No, you get a little bit of garage in me. I was watching some of the other episodes, and I'm just like, man, I won't get a Bridgeport. Man, I want to get this. Man, oh man. So yeah, this is a cool show. I'm glad this is going on. You guys are doing it, and thanks for coming out to my shop. I never thought for 100 years anybody would be interested enough to want to see what I'm doing. So
we're interested in everybody's stuff.
That's cool.
Even if you got a rickshaw in your garage, we don't care. We'll come look at it. But sir, I want to thank you very much for having us in your garage and sharing your absolute wealth of knowledge. And if you have some rounding around stuff and need your stuff, some help, your guy can come help you.
I'll make you go faster and left. I promise.
All right, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Hey guys, tune in for the next one.